16.
Thank you. Okay. So, we met up with what's his name? Orc man.
Diesel.
Diesel was gonna set up a meeting with whatever organization is acting kind of in the absence of the Dark Lanterns. Presumably. Don't know much about him. We were trying to figure out how to get to the meeting point. Took like a couple hours. I think we're running a little bit late. And we found a guy who like asked us to go through his bar or something that was like on the way to the meeting point. So we entered his bar and then we got near the bar and we just heard like screaming and like somebody super injured ran out of it, so we like snuck up to the place and then people are turning into monsters and we ended up killing like 3 or 4 human monster hybrid things, and that's where we stopped, right? Right after the current skirmish ended.
You did something else really. Well, it took a little bit of time. Do you remember?
Did we end up having the meeting?
You ended the meeting, but you went somewhere else. There was the drug dealer, Josh.
Oh, there was a druggie in the basement of the fight room.
Yeah.
And we talked to him for a little while. Doesn't he have something back at his house?
Yeah, you guys were trying to figure out. Well, you did end up figuring out that everybody who turned into a monster initially did a little bit of this like drug or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
And then Joshua was like, "All right, thanks, guys. You're good people. I'm gonna go." And you're like, "Hey, no, don't go." So I'm gonna go. And then Quincy threw out Tiger and pinned him.
That's right.
And you went to a shithole apartment and you pretty much bought the giant brick of what he called happy sand from him for like 25 gold.
And we also found his supplier. We set up a meeting.
Right, it was in a brothel, right?
He agreed to like go make a drop as usual or make a pickup as usual, and then we would tail him and talk to his supplier or whatever.
Yeah. He said the drop is usually in the Firelight District, which is very close to where you are in Smoky Towers right now. He says she's a really dangerous woman. She always kind of covers her face. Always has like some sort of thing covering like the top part of her head, whether it's a cloak or bandana or something. And she's always flanked by like real mean-looking guards. So, yeah. When did we decide we were going to do that?
I don't know if we set a time for it. We said we'll just be back in touch, I think. Like he'll coordinate.
How do we get in contact with him to coordinate that in the future?
You do know where he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that right away.
Kind of a random lead.
It would be good to do it sooner though than later.
Was the dealer in the same city?
What?
Was the dealer in this same city?
Yeah, in the same city. Almost in the same district.
I say we're pretty much done with Sharn, right? Is there anything left we need to do?
I would like to.
If you want the fuel for the airship, you have to wait at least 2 more days.
Okay.
Yeah, we're killing time.
I would also like to figure out, if possible, more details about some of the blockades and stuff. Maybe we can free up 1 or 2 of them.
What does free up entail?
I don't know. Like I said, gather more information about them, see if we can do anything helpful.
You gonna go gather more information about what?
Like the blockades. We were going to talk to someone in charge.
Okay.
Over the next 2 days. So once we're done with our meeting here with Fiesel.
Cool. Well, this isn't with Fiesel. This is with somebody else, remember?
Right.
Oh, okay. So you guys kind of tailed Joshua back to his shitty apartment. It was super messy and everything, and then you bought the gold off of him after intimidating him to buy it for half price, or buy the drug off of him. After that, you kind of left, shut the door. You kind of left him kind of hating your guts, just because he's an asshole and you guys are trying to get stuff done. You guys went a little bit further, maybe 10 or so blocks away, just walking. Smoky Towers is a district that's it's up above from the like the Tavern Red Light District. It's like in that area, but it's one of the higher in the towers. So a lot of the smoke from like all the hearths in the taverns down below, kind of like give it like this foggy, constant, like foggy London kind of vibe to it. It's a theater district. There's a whole bunch of like little bordellos and like tiny little like art theaters and things. So you guys go to find, what is it called? Mizano Rupas. Mizano Rupas. To hopefully try to find this where the meeting was. Do you remember anything about the place that you met him?
The theater?
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't anything really, I guess, nothing too detailed, but there was a small, like, entry area. The doors were unlocked, all the lights were off. There were, like, art, play posters kind of on the wall of a small ticket booth that was dark. You kind of opened up the main auditorium. It's not a very small theater, but it's small enough theater. Maybe sits like 200 people, maybe. With no balconies or anything that you can see. There's a play going on, like somebody rehearsing. There's like a small pit orchestra, like 8 to 10 people maybe. They're all playing in the middle, playing some like really spooky, tense music, and there's 2 people fighting on stage, or like verbally accosting each other. And as soon as you like stop and you let the door kind of close, very loudly. There's a few people sitting in the audience. It doesn't look like the play's going on. It looks like just like a rehearsal. But as soon as that happens, everybody stops and turns. The guy in the audience puts his hand up. He goes, "Cut!" You see him kind of in shadow because like the stage is lit and he's silhouetted with the light. He looks a very lithe figure. You can see like he maybe has like kind of long hair pulled back somehow. And you just hear him stand there in cold silence where everybody's kind of staring at you. And you just hear him say, "You're late."
Sorry. Our apologies.
Backstage,
Okay.
he points. Yeah, he says backstage. You guys kind of start meandering down the aisle. And he goes, "All right, scene 23, one more time." You hear the orchestra kind of strike back up with a furious sting. And the 2 people start, spouting dialogue to each other as you make your way backstage. It looks like there's a small stairway going up onto the stage where you just kind of slip behind a dark purple curtain. The whole time that you're going up, you just feel all the eyes from everybody on stage. Even though they're practicing, you just kind of feel them leering at you. You guys kind of go backstage, park the curtain. Not a large backstage area, but large enough. It's very crowded. There's not a lot of people. There's maybe 5 or 6 people back here. But the space is tight and winding, and it's all kind of obscured by large, strange props. There's a statue of like a large gargoyle that seems to be looming over that looks like it's made of stone, but when you kind of bump against it, it's obviously super light. A couple people are watching from behind the wings. There's one man with like a chin curtain beard, a lot stockier. He's kind of balding on top, with his hair short. Just wearing like simple clothes, like just kind of like baggy black pants, like maybe a dark red shirt. He's sitting there stroking his beard, watching the play as it's going on. He leers at you guys as you come back behind. Just leers for a second and continues watching. A couple other people are rushing back behind. Looks like you can hear like a workshop back there, like somebody's working on some sort of stagecraft. You stop for a second, and the guy with the chin curtain looks you over. He just points further backstage. So you guys make it into the wings, kind of go back. The stage itself, there's a large space in between the actual wall of the building and where the curtain is for multiple fast scene changes. They can put the curtain in front of the scenery, just modify it like that. So there's several different large curtains up above. Back here, it looks just like washing lines, kind of. Like all around, there's all of these like lines that are just kind of crisscrossed, maybe about 7 to 10 feet up, and draped on it is just linens and clothes and any sort of fabric. They all just kind of in the wind. You get in there and it feels a little claustrophobic because you're just like crisscrossed by all these sheets. It's almost like a really dense forest of like linens. So you go back there and just kind of wait. You hear a musical stinger, and you hear a couple claps, some murmuring. You hear heavy footsteps of a man in heels, just like clop, 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 come through the back area. Some more murmuring, and a man comes to the back, parting one of the sheets. He's an elf. He's got very, very pointed, long ears that kind of taper back. He's got like the front part shaved and the back part into like a braid that goes up and down, like wrapped around his ears a little bit. It's a weird style. He seems to be wearing like a silver shirt that looks like silk almost. That's very, very open. He's got his sleeves rolled up, and he's just wearing just like normal denim pants that are black. And he's got like these almost like heeled, like pointed dress shoes that like click as you walk. It looks like they're silver pointed at the top. That's the first thing you notice. The second thing you notice is that with his shirt kind of open like this, he's got it's not pale skin, but it's like almost like a bluish tint. So it looks like cold almost. But all throughout his chest, you see this gigantic, stylized birthmark almost, erupting from his chest, disappearing over one shoulder, and kind of peeking out one of the arms that's just coiled up. It looks like a tattoo or a birthmark, but it's hard to differentiate. It looks natural, like it's not like etched, but it just juts off in weird angular parts that almost looks like, I don't know, like the waving back of some slithering beast almost. As he ducks his head, his like really, really dark blue eyes, looks at you, all the linens around. There's a moment of silence. He puts his hands behind his back, looks you over. So what business are we doing then?
Is this a secure location? He may have some sensitive information that we wouldn't want getting out.
It's secure enough.
I believe we may have some mutual interests in information, and we just came to see if we are on the same side.
His face is just a neutral, blank mask. He doesn't really give you any sort of facial tics or anything.
We came across some of yours at a facility in the government district.
I mean, I guess you call them former members. We found his body, not him.
We also have an interest in this facility.
What makes you think that somebody you found is one of mine?
We had just assumed, based on his, just what he had on his person.
We were given info that he might be affiliated with you.
And what is this? What was this site that you found, presumably one of my associates?
The former one of the heads of the former Dark Lanterns.
Well, that's interesting. I can't say that I know who you're talking about, but that sounds like a rough day. You mentioned perhaps mutual, something we can both get out of this exchange. So tell me about the site.
Well, we used to have an understanding with the organization. However, as I'm sure you know, is no longer in operation. Our interest is in service of Breland. I'm sure you're also aware of the ongoing conflict with the Warforged. So really, we are
the slightest little bit of nod.
We are ultimately here in service of the Brellish Crown.
Well, I have real no concern of crowns or kings or affiliations or any of that. So you're telling me you're loyalists? Here to bring the monarchy back to the lawless wastes of Sharn. Is that correct?
Not so politically motivated. I'd say more the higher purpose of preserving the living as opposed to the living machine.
Interesting. Did you find anything at this site? Something you were looking for?
Perhaps we did. We would have to have some good faith, some idea of your intention in pursuing that plot.
We found a couple of things that were, I think would be pretty valuable to someone that wants to know about our organization. And I guess this isn't so much of an offer. We don't have a ton to give you outside of this information, but this is more of an introduction. I was curious what you could tell me about yourself.
He gives like the smallest little bit of frown. He kind of picks his teeth a little bit, gets something out of it. So you want me to tell you something about myself, and then you'll give me a piece of information.
I mean, if our interests align, then we would have no reason not to share it with you. We're just not sure if we can necessarily trust you.
We merely need to know that we're not giving valuable information into the hands of someone who would be working against our interests?
Well, the nature of us is we have real no concern of our clients' motivations. We of course have our own interests, and we will support we will only take clients that support our own interests. But if you must know, I am Tien Xiao de Thorani of House Thorani, dragon marked House of Shadows.
Can we roll some history?
Sure. And you know what? I might have that wrong. Hold on.
Somebody else roll.
That's not.
That's one.
Yeah, I have it right. It's Thorani. His name is Tien Shiel, so it's Teanshele, and then a D and a X, or then a apostrophe, Dothrani.
Rocky?
What? Dothraki?
Yeah. I rolled a 11.
11?
We got a 10, baby.
You heard of House Thorani before. I mean, there's like 13 different Dragon Mark houses. Some of them, you know, are obviously a lot more out in the public than others. House Thorani, as far as you know, is like a artisan guild. Like, it's people who, it's like musicians and like playwrights and people who support the arts.
Thespians.
Yeah, but they're like prime. It's like you can hire like local musicians if you want, but if you like absolutely want to guarantee just somebody who's fucking amazing, you hire Thorani. But when he says the House of Shadows, it's not really something that you are aware of.
Right. So I imagine then you or one of your clients desired some information about this facility or this organization.
Perhaps. And if we were to learn something as well, if it would behoove us to take on the job, we take the job.
So it's predominantly contract work then? Or is there a kind of center of operations where you make your own decisions?
He kind of smiles a bit because we are isolated but united. That doesn't make any sense. We are isolated but independent. We are independent but ultimately united with different cells.
Okay.
And is your ultimate goal the support of some political scheme, regime, or other? Or
I guess
within Breland, are you trying to support a certain political arrangement?
Our interests are purely House Thorani.
And therefore extend beyond Breland, I imagine.
He knows.
how big of a part is Breland to House Thorani?
A little bit larger since we lost our home base in Sire. But it is, in Sharn, one of the larger cells that we have.
Do you have any involvement in the conflict with the Warforged?
He shakes his head. No, that's not really our MO.
But you have been affected by the goings on.
No, it's his head. Arch does not. It's in our best interest to keep everyone happy. We are thriving when there's not a conflict. People don't really want to listen to ballads when their neighbors are being slaughtered.
So, is there some way you can assure us that you're not in any way in league with the King of Blades?
I do not think there's any way I could prove it right here and right now.
I mean, it sounds like they thrive on stability.
He nods.
So that's something we can identify with. I think we could definitely have like a promising working relationship from what I'm hearing. How are you guys feeling?
He looks a little puzzled. He goes, I'm sorry, working relationship? This is an information exchange. I was not aware this was a job interview.
It's more like a volunteer. We like we said, we were employed with the Dark Lanterns, and we're kind of just putting our feelers out. We were gone for a while, and now we're back, and we're just trying to get make heads or tails of this whole situation. So our mutual friend Thiesel brought you up with us, obviously. So I personally like what I'm hearing.
Okay. So I told you about us. I think now it's time for payment in exchange. What did you find in the site?
Well, we have information about bypassing the security systems. We have intel on the traps and dangers contained within, the guardian of the estate, and some history of the organization being members ourselves.
His eyebrows kind of shoot up at that. Oh. It was under my assumption that the Dark Lanterns had been disbanded.
It basically has been. That's what we found out, just a matter of weeks ago. So we're kind of just trying to figure out who's here and who's where. But yeah, we have extensive knowledge of basically the whole network.
Interesting.
So you can imagine that when we heard that other parties have been seeking information about the lanterns, it piqued our interest.
Sure. So, would having you have already been able to get into the estate and bypass security and have your way with it, have you come across any sort of information? Any databases, perchance?
We may have access to certain portions of that type of information.
Well, that's very alluring. How about this? You have some information that we'd like to know, and possibly information that you'd like to know as well. About the client who the job was for. See, we don't know him very well. He's not from these parts. he's found himself in a place of rapidly rising power here in Sharn. And we are not exactly sure of his ultimate goals either. And if we were to give him what he required of us in that estate, he would have considerable amount of power both in the spotlight and not in the spotlight. We'd like to do some research on him. If there's any files that you have of him, perchance we can exchange.
Would it be too much to ask the name of the person you're talking about?
See, that would be my part of the deal, I think. I think I'd give you the name of who we're working for, and then your part of the deal would be giving us the information we require. Making you guys know of somebody who's interested in acquiring the power of the previous Dark Lanterns, and letting us know about our client and what to do with him.
Alan, do you think you could sign up a non-disclosure agreement here? We don't discuss any of these terms outside of the room that they were discussed in?
Yeah. 2 parties, binding, non-disclosure.
Is this okay? Is this...
We would only have to be quite sure that none of the former agents of the Dark Lanterns will be harmed by the disbursement of this information.
Well, we're talking one man, right? One name. What if we both parties viewed the files at the same time?
If we what now?
What if both parties viewed this guy's file at the same time?
Good work.
So you're suggesting that we give you information on a single individual that is an associate of the Dark Lanterns. That's what you want?
On our client.
Information on your client.
There's a catch. We deal in the shadows, or we put ourselves in the spotlight here at Ferrani, so we can more easily duck into the shadows when we need to. So we don't have his name, but we have a contact point where the exchange is supposed to happen. If we are barred per our contract to find out any information on this guy, including his name. We have a code name for him, and we have a meeting place, and that's it. Maybe the one agent that has seen him knows his face, but almost immediately they are switched to another cell after that. I believe Agent Grace is still here. She's going to leave soon, but she was the person that saw him.
But even she has no name?
She does not have a name, no, but she knows where the contact point is, and she alone.
You said there's a code name?
That's what it said.
Are you proposing that we find the name and then expose that person's files to you?
Yes. Because otherwise you would not have contact with him.
Yeah.
And what is it that you gain from the transaction?
Like you said, we don't really serve any other higher power but ourselves. So we take contracts that we are sure are going to benefit us in the long run. If this man is on the up and up and is quickly rising to power like he is, we want to know whether we should even give him the information that and what he could do with it, because it could be what he requested could be very powerful. We want to know whether he's trustworthy to possess the information.
I like a good stakeout.
Can I insight check him?
Sure.
That's not me. 7.
He is a impierceable mask of neutrality.
Okay. Just to reiterate, our priority is that the cause of the living flesh against the living machine is not harmed. I think we can proceed if you are aligned with that ideal.
He nods his head. I can agree with those terms. So you will follow Agent Grace to the drop point, where the handoff is supposed to happen. There will be no handoff, and the another point will be chosen by Agent Grace. You will see him and perhaps try to dig up his name if you can from somewhere else, maybe, or if it's up to you. If you can find the name of the person that is trying to buy this, then you can give us information on the client if he's on the up and up, and then maybe we can talk about a more extensive partnership after that.
You look like a man who has access to lots of costumes.
There's a very, very small bit of a smirk on the side of his face.
I want to transform the Balfour sword into one of those blind people walking sticks, and then ask him if he has blind man sunglasses.
I think that can be arranged.
The blue blockers that cover the whole.
Yeah, and so I would like to stake out the drop point as a blind dude wandering.
Nods his head. That can be arranged. I think for any of you that wish to have any sort of disguises, we can give you anything that you need. We have many people that are talented in both practical and magical.
Oh, this could be the sickest stakeout. We could have people at newsstands and around the corner, and we all have the earpieces.
So we arrived at an agreement?
I believe it's a good start.
Ballstar's gonna be a newsie.
He smiles kind of this quick, very polite smile. And then you see him stomp on the floor twice. And you see all of the linens get pushed back. And it looks like every person that was in the pit orchestra and the actors and all the backstage hands had been hidden behind all of the linens. And all of them have crossbows, daggers, swords. About 15 to 20 people that are all just concealed in shadows behind all of these.
Oh. What's up, everybody?
He looks around to everybody, goes, "Do we have a consensus?" You hear multiple just poof, poof on the floor, everybody stomping. He nods, he goes, "Meeting adjourned."
Ballstar peed.
Grace? What?
Ballstar peed a little.
It looks like there's a mix. There's maybe one or two dwarves. There's a lot of half elves and a lot of elves and maybe one or two humans, but it's mostly very, very live elves. You notice all of the elves are wearing clothing that prominently display their dragon mark in different places, like either on the side of the head or around the arm or on the wrist somewhere. But you notice that Tien Shield's dragon mark is by far the biggest. It's like all the way up his chest and around his arm. Everybody else is just like a little tramp stamp. Maybe one that looks a little bit like a full sleeve, but yeah. He points up and goes, Grace, darling, come down here. Grace comes walking out of the linen. She is a half elf. It looks like she doesn't have a dragon mark on her. She looks like very sturdy. It looks like just like a sturdy looking woman. Still pretty tall. You can see a lot of kind of rippling muscle underneath the skin. She's wearing, it just looks like just a normal, like almost like an evening gown, like something that's sparkly, that she was back there dressed up as she's just got back. You see her holding an instrument case. And he goes, "Well, how was the show?" It was interesting. It went a little sour at the end, but I think we did all right. Good. Get more details later. Grace, this is, I don't have any of your names. This is the Dark Lanterns.
I mean, we're
Grace.
technically the Manticore. We're like a subsidiary of the Dark Lanterns. I'm Ballstar. These are my friends.
She introduces herself. She was Grace.
Hello.
Well then, it seems that we are going on a stakeout. This will
Hell
be
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, can you give us any info about the location? I mean, like just kind of general logistics of the area.
I can. However, I can't do it here. Prying eyes and all that, or prying ears. Nobody is supposed to hear about it.
Sure.
Nobody in the group. It's very secretive.
Of course.
Just to clarify, so we're gonna meet at the agreed upon location, and then they're gonna change location at that junction, right? To an alternate place. Okay.
If we were to do the handoff, yes, but we're not going to do the handoff. We're going to meet at a place. We're going to tell him that we're going to do an extension, and then come up with another location that we're going to meet at.
Right. Okay.
Cool. So we're not supposed to meet him until she kind of looks at her watch. Still got a couple hours. We're supposed to meet at dawn. It's about 3 o'clock now. If you want, you can follow me while I do some cleanup from my last gig, or you can perform whatever you need to be able to prepare for this.
We want to get our disguises ready, so it'd be helpful to know about the location to better disguise ourselves.
Surely. She goes down, she rips off a piece of paper from the notebooks and she writes it down. I gotta remember what this place is called. Give me one moment. Really, all the Sharn districts are just like a verb and an adjective and a verb. But let's see.
The Screaming Rooster.
Screaming, the prancing pig.
The bulging poo.
The hairy notch.
The hairy notch.
The Soapy Bulge.
The soupy balls.
Soupy Goose.
Here we go. It's in Mithril Tower. It is Central Plateau. It's Upper Central Plateau. So it's just about as high as you can get in the very center of Sharn. So there's government district,
Jesus.
and then like a couple levels up above the government district is where Mithril Tower is. It is like super wealthy residential and financial district. You guys know it as most desirable downtown residential district, comparable to the more suburban Oak Towers and Crystal Bridge districts in Upper North Edge. It's right next to the highest class shopping district, which is called Platinum Heights. Mithril Towers. So she goes, at dawn, we are to meet, she writes it down. Mithril Towers, the house, what's it called? Kundarak? House Kundarak, House Kundarak Financial Services.
Hello.
So, do we want to be just like?
Is it at like an intersection or something, or like?
She nods her head. That place is very well watched. House Kundarak being the dragon marked house of Warden. It is a secure storage facility and a bank. There is a area that inside of one of these secure storage vaults that our client has purchased. And we are to meet there, where he has complete control over all the wards inside. It might be difficult. That's going to be the hard thing, is that the actual meeting place is inside of a safe deposit room, pretty much.
Oh boy.
So if you were to see him, he's only expecting me. You might have to catch him on his way in or out.
Right.
He says I can help you, make you look like however you want. I have some limited ability. But we do have practical makeup and costumes here.
Excellent. So Balfour is like jewel encrusted and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So does this just look like a pimped out blind man stick?
Yeah.
Okay, and this is like a wealthy area?
Yes.
Okay, so I just need to look good otherwise.
Yeah, this is like Wall Street.
Yeah, we want to be like lower Manhattan, like just bankers, just people in seats walking around looking busy.
I'm going to need a stylist. Stat.
Done. She looks over, she goes, Cadenza, come here. There's one of the dwarf women comes up, she's just got jitters and has this big like suitcase that she out, flips it open, and it's just a huge makeup suitcase. Yeah, she can make you up however you want.
Alright.
Make me look like a self-important man with a poor family life.
Done and done. He does it, gives you a really nice tailor-fitted suit that's like, very like, what's that called? Slim fit.
Okay.
Really pointy great shoes. Actually, I think she cuts your hair.
That's fine.
Okay. She cuts it into like a trendy fade, slicks it back so it looks all beautiful.
Do you have any wheelchairs around the facility?
Yeah, I believe so.
Alright. Gonna need one of those.
Interesting. But yeah, okay. She has a wheelchair for you. So what's the disguise for you guys for the wheelchair?
Just want to be like a crusty old man in a oversized suit in a wheelchair. Have someone
Okay.
push me around.
She gives you like the really big oversized glasses and like does all the old makeup, so you just kind of.
Hey, Quincy, just tuck one of your arms in, like underneath your shirt.
Okay.
You only got one limb. He can make it on his own.
Oh.
How about so? Alan Greenspan's going as a pimped out blind guy.
Yeah, blind man.
What about Terrence?
Terrence needs a bespoke suit and wants to look like a high functioning cocaine addict.
Nice. Okay. She gives you I think an equal suit to Ballstar, something that's like slim fit, just a little bit ragged. She like kind of pulls the tie a little bit. She goes up to Alan Greenspan. She goes, "There's one final touch. Hold on." She kind of takes the blind glasses off. She goes, "Just in case glasses get lost." She throws a little spell out, and your eyes just cloud over.
Ooh. No.
You're not actually blind. They look like they're blind.
Yeah. Excellent.
Cool. So, yeah, you guys get all done with that. She, the time comes, unless there's anything else you guys want to do, the time can come for you guys to meet just before dawn.
Does Credenza also do tattoos?
Yeah, she can.
I think it's time.
You gonna get the permanent tattoo?
Yeah.
I don't know if they have any tattoo stuff here, but she can like make a fake tattoo.
I'll discuss it with her for later.
Okay.
Which tattoo was it?
It's a calculator.
That's right.
And where was it?
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, you guys get ready to go. She definitely, she dresses, she doesn't overdress, she's not like a nightgown or anything, but she looks nice. She has like a, kind of a big floppy hat. She has her own sunglasses on. She's wearing just kind of like a sundress with like a shawl and a jacket over it. She's very posh. And you see she's carrying her whatever musical instrument over her shoulder. And you guys make your way. She cuts through a whole bunch of alleys. You see her, you take a couple sky cabs to get there really quickly, but all she does is kind of come up. There's no info exchange or money exchange. She kind of steps up and she click opens up her instrument case and then just shows it to the sky cab guy. He nods very quickly and she shuts it back up. And they get on with a word, and he takes like back alleys, not back alleys, but not like any of the main places where you'd be seen. A couple of sky cabs later, you guys end up in the Mithril Towers. Huge buildings. They're all just gaudy, strange, weird, modern angles, like a lot of glass, like skyscrapers. There's large, strange statues in the middle of these busy intersections in between these buildings. It's very nice, especially just before dawn. It looks like just before a big rush happens during the weekday. You get there as the sun is just kind of peeking out some of the clouds, and it's just barely like that bluish, yellowish light like before the sun actually rises. You guys reach the Kundarak, the House Kundarak Financial Services. It's a very large, squat looking building. Not as modern as the rest. It looks very utilitarian. It's definitely got its own frills. It's got like a whole bunch of like architecture on the top, some like flying buttresses on it. But it's a squat, kind of rounder building that's just like large and wide and spread out.
Does it look like it's been there like longer than the other buildings around it?
Yeah, it looks like it has been. It's an old building.
Gotcha.
So you guys get into that little plaza where it's at. She kind of leans up next to a statue. There's a large fountain, and just a whole bunch of like babies playing, and it looks like one of the old kings of Galifar, holding like a bouquet of flowers and then a large sword. And there's little babies just vomiting water everywhere. It's a beautiful, huge, old fountain.
Is it the sword?
Roll a perception check.
Roll the 3.
Doesn't look like it, from what you can tell. So yeah, you kind of meet at the fountain, discuss game plan. She says, we're to meet him or I'm to meet him 45 minutes in the bank lobby. The bank lobby opens up in 30 minutes. That's probably the only place that you guys will have any sort of access to, mostly because you don't have any reason to be back behind, and I assure you, the dwarves of House Kundarak keep their security very, very tight.
Yeah. Alright. We can get off on the inside to open up a safety deposit box for his freaking jeweled whatever the hell we stole.
Oh.
That'll get him in the building. I can be in the grounds outside just wandering aimlessly back and forth. No one will question it. Where do you guys want to post up?
I have no idea. So we're trying. Do we know what this guy looks like? Like, how much information do we actually have on the guy? You don't know his name. Like,
What's his?
She doesn't. She goes, but I do know what he looks like.
okay.
He's a dwarf, white hair. He dresses very gaudy. He has a kind of a shorter beard. That's salt and pepper. He's got bright green eyes.
And what is his code name?
I mean, we just have him as Client 36.
If there's any furniture in the lobby, we can have 2 of us having a conversation there.
She nods. He said, "There's definitely furniture in the lobby. It's a place for people to wait, and it's done for luxury. So there's many small areas where one can sit and wait."
How many exits to this building, do you know?
The ones that we have access to, just the one main. There's probably other ones, but this is a building where you touch the wrong door and it might explode, and you might get vaporized.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering about how this guy leaves the building eventually. We want to have good coverage.
I think general protocol is to go in the same way or to come out the same way they came in. So there's the main doors.
Okay.
Are you thinking about tailing him after he leaves?
Well, yeah, maybe. If we don't have his name by the time the meeting ends, we'll need to follow up.
I mean, he's gonna have security, I imagine, right? Presumably. If he's like a public figure who's up and coming, he's not gonna be defenseless. I can't
Do
imagine.
you know what room you're gonna be in?
She kind of looks down at a piece of paper. It's deposit room 6.
Bump into him and pickpocket something. We can scry,
Alright.
scry him.
I think I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to open up a deposit room.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll be in one of the rooms next door. I can look into the room while they're meeting.
That's if you gotta be next.
Clairvoyance.
You gotta be next door to him, or can you do it from like anywhere in the building?
I think it's yet to be on the other side of the wall, right?
So here's what I'm thinking: we have on-off, and you definitely go in, or somebody, and then while like they're trying to open up the safety deposit for the glove, let on-off do his thing. You know what I mean? Avoid on-off getting caught up in the dialogue of putting a gauntlet in a box. I mean, I could try the. Terrence just said we could like try to pickpocket him, and then I could scry on him from like the shit he had on him. But who wants? I would want on-off to do that. So it might look.
I think maybe you two should be having the conversation in the lobby. Alan should be outside, and then I'll try to open up.
And if on-off is in the building, maybe he gets an opportunity to do the pickpocket.
Yeah, it's just be like an extra layer. Is a way to follow him.
So with clairvoyance, it's a 1 mile range, but I have to either have seen the place before, or it has to be like in an obvious place, like behind the wall or behind a door.
Okay. Well, so you can find out which deposit room it is, go in, and then go out before they ever even arrive.
Sounds like a solid plan. 2 men on the inside, 1 on the outside. 1 trying to get deeper into the bowels, and 1 pickpocketing him.
If possible.
And it doesn't have to be anything of value, just something that's on him.
On off goes.
Borrow a
yeah, sure.
pen. Borrow a pen. Anything.
Yeah, cut a button off. Anything.
Done and done. She looks up. You hear a big kind of tolling of the bell. Boom, boom, boom. Signaling that the bank is open. You see dwarf guards kind of step out, all in unison. Step out, unlock the doors, prop it open, and then you see people kind of start flocking, either into work or there to do business.
Okay. I'm gonna go in the bank.
Yeah, I'm going in the lobby and chilling in the furniture. That'll give me a line of sight.
He nods his head. Or she nods her head. On off was like, hey, so Alan, should I stay out here with you? Like, if we see him, I mean, Grace is out here. If she gives us the signal, I can tail this guy inside and then pickpocket him there. Because I don't really want to do it in front of all the bank guards and shit.
I like the idea of starting outside, but the moment they go in the bank, I think you need to be in the bank also.
Alright, I can do that.
And
How
if
about-
anyone questions you, say you've got a precious item that
Yeah.
you need stashed.
On off. Your excuse for coming in the bank after the outside pickpocket is that you're bringing the gauntlet to me to deposit for you. I'm your power of attorney.
Okay, I can do that. You guys step inside. Crew goes inside. Terrence and Ballstar go one way into the lobby, and Quincy goes in towards the. It gets into line for one of the clerks. Huge building. It's just like wooden teller's desks all around. In the very, very center, there's a large gold bronze archway that's just carved very angularly, and there's just all these faces of old grumpy dwarves all over it. The ceiling is like 150 feet high. It goes all the way up with like a huge, gorgeous crystalline chandelier that's giving off like a really warm yellow light. It's all done like dark woods. It looks like the floor is like a dark marble, like a black marble. It's like laced with like silver. There's lobby areas in kind of the center of where all the tellers area is. In that main gate, looks like it's main security to get into the actual bank. There are many guards. There's checkpoints. People at, like it's like it's like an airport pretty much. You get all your shit checked that you're going in there for. You take your shoes off. You go through a little body scanner thing. All that.
Maybe
And-
maybe we rethink on-off going in the building. He's got so much shit on him.
Since I'm not really going through security, right? I'm just giving it to Quincy.
All right.
I mean, you're still gonna need to get past the security detail.
No. Like there's the lobby has like all the teller desks and like the lobby with like all the sitting places, and then like where the teller's desks meet at the like near the back
That's
is that
the
large
TSA.
arch. And that's where security is to get deeper.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I think this could work. On-off can be part of the group that goes inside with us because he's bringing us the gauntlet. He's making an appointment with his legal representation to put this into a deposit box. I think it's a good excuse, and then if we get a chance, maybe he can. If Quincy's doing his thing and on-off can. If opportunity strikes, be a plan B.
Nazi said.
But I think we got a good way to get in there without reliably.
So inside Teton goes inside. The lobbies, there's like large white leather plush chairs. There's small little like almost personalized braziers. It's like like personal fireplaces that each one of these like chairs are set around. It's gorgeous. Quincy gets in the line. You guys kind of get in the lobby area. You're outside with Grace. Grace has a clear eyesight of you. She's kind of across the plaza near the fountain, looking around as best she can. She said she'll give you a nod when she sees him. On-off stays outside too, kind of back. People are hustling and bustling now that it's work hours. Eventually, Alan, you see her very, without being too distracting, she gives a very, very distinct turn and a small nod that you can see from across the plaza because she's wearing like all white, very bright. She gives you a nod, and she kind of like looks back to a street, and there you see among her other people. It's hard to see. You see a roll perception check.
Okay.
This might be too late. I wanted
You
to
have a
do.
little time. He's not dead yet.
Oh, I wanted to do enhanceability on off.
Okay.
Good call.
Hold on, I gotta look. Whatever perception is. I think it's
Wisdom?
I think it's Owl's wisdom.
Yeah.
So yeah, just advantage on ability checks for wisdom.
Okay.
Can you cast Detect Magic?
Enhanceability.
Can you do you have that spell? Detect Magic?
I can do it. I think it's concentration though.
Oh, is Enhanceability also concentration?
Enhanceability is concentration.
So,
are you
Alan,
going to see him?
you
I don't think so.
you see him.
Well,
You see him flanked.
no,
Ah.
I'll feed him.
There's a dwarf wearing a cream suit with a little bolo tie, and he's flanked by it looks like 5 or 6 charmed militiamen with a little bit of the yellow. These ones actually have like painted yellow parts of their armor instead of just like a bandana. They actually look like they might be military men instead of just like thugs. As he gets a little bit closer, you kind of squint like, motherfucker. You know him. It's Thunder and Creed.
Whoa.
Oh man.
Okay, so I will get on the radio and say, gentlemen, showtime. It's Creed. He's got 4 guards.
On-off goes into action and disappears into the crowd. Easily able to find him. You see on-off kind of cross paths. He just starts walking like another direction. Very, very quickly, you see him, like he's going for the bump and grab, it looks like. But as soon as he gets close, it looks like all of the guards kind of protect, like they're in a flanking position with him almost. Looks like he's maybe not going for the bump and grab. He then, instead of just doing like a regular bump and grab, you see him. There's a poor older woman in front of him. You see him kind of hide and disappear behind the older woman, and then you see the older woman just like fucking fall flat. Right into one of the guards, and she. And right, the guard, like 2 of the guards, like, oh my god, good, and picked him up. You don't see him; he's a fucking blur. 2 seconds after, even before she's even up off the cobblestones, you see her mouth is just blood.
Oh god.
He goes, got it. I got something. I got a ring.
Nice.
Yeah, just come in when you're comfortable. You got the gauntlet?
track him. He goes into the bank with his five Sharn militiamen guards. On off closely behind, maybe 40, 50 feet, just kind of going around. You see he's got like a shoebox with him, just like you guys see on the interior, I think right when he gets inside, I think Quincy is up at the counter. There is a Dwarven woman. She looks like she has a dragon mark all kind of over her hands, like a henna tattoo a little bit. She goes, hi, how can I help you?
Hello. I'm looking to open a safe. What do you call it?
A deposit box?
Yeah, deposit box. Yes, please.
How large of a box would you be needing?
It's just small.
Just small, like something for like necklace or a ring?
Yes.
Or important documents? Okay. That's going to be an initial 1,200 gold charge for our services. Any sort of square foot on top of that's going to be 750 for each square foot.
Okay.
Fantastic. So if you're just going to go for the smallest one, that'll be a deposit 1,200 gold plus our banking and warding fees, which will bring you up to 770. Or sorry, 1,700. It was 1,700, not 770.
Ballstar pooped a little.
Do I get to pick the number? I have a special number.
She just smiles. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. What number would you like, sir?
I particularly like the numbers 5 or 7.
Okay. One of the smaller safe deposits in 5 or 7. I can do that. You remember he read off like a safety deposit room, right?
Right.
You getting something really tiny? Okay.
Yeah.
So she goes over. You give her the gold. She gives you a little key. She goes, if you a warden will be here. She kind of gets somebody's attention. A warden will be here soon, and he will take you to your new safety deposit box. Thank you so much for going with House Kundarok.
Thank you.
Strength of Stone.
You've been so sweet. You're like my granddaughter.
Oh, stop.
Okay.
Cocaine Bros, you see Tholdrin fucking Creed.
Alright, I just for the hell of it, I'm gonna cast Detect Magic to see if he's anything magic about him.
Okay. Detect Magic. Takes you a couple, maybe 30 seconds to get up to full strength. You do see he's radiating some kind of magic.
From anything he's wearing, or just from him?
From his general vicinity on his person, yeah. You can't really see exactly where from, but he is giving off abjuration and divination magic.
Alright, and then I'm gonna go full out here, and I'm gonna cast True Sight.
Wow, okay. What does True Sight do? Let's see. Specifically. See the dose in by magic and can see into the ethereal plane all up to a range of 120 feet.
Yeah,
Crazy.
We experienced that in that room where we first saw Quesnef.
Yeah,
We caught a glimpse of him in that room.
Magical shitty ring.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you go it out. It takes your mind a little bit to. It's like you're seeing two overlapping images at the same time. Both this, like the physical realm and the ethereal realm. It kind of hurts your brain a little bit for a second. But you notice that the true sight on Thundrin, nothing really. Thundrin himself, it seems, is just a regular dwarf. You see the magic around him kind of rippling. Nothing really ethereal. However, all up and down it looks like in some entry points in the building, the first thing you see is just over this security gate, standing maybe like 25, 30 feet tall, is this huge fucking ghost colossus in the ethereal plane with two huge, like a hammer and a huge axe. It almost looks like a statue. Just like a huge fucking dwarf, full plate armor, like a full mask over that looks like an artist rendition of like an angry dwarf standing over, like watching the whole lobby. And then in between each one of the tellers, so there's another one, smaller one of these like ghost guardians.
Are they moving?
No, they're not. They are unearthly still.
All right, and what do I know about? You already told me the kind of magic. Can I see where the magic is sourced from? That is coming from Thundrin?
Yeah, sure. I'll say that. He's got looks like one of the sources coming from one of the rings that he has on, because Thundrin always has these gold, they were silver or gold, like rings. So 10 rings, a ring on each of the fingers. One of the rings is glowing. You notice that he's missing one on his ring finger, but that one is that one's missing. But the one on his pinky is glowing. That's sort of magical, and it looks like the belt he's wearing is magical as well.
All right.
Magic motherfucker.
All right. So I'm going to prepare one last spell for when he exits the building, and we'll come to it when that happens.
Okay. What about Ballstar?
I don't know, man. I'm just looking nervous, waiting for Anoff to come in.
Okay, you see Anoff come in, you see Thundrin. He gets into line. You see a warden come up, or a warden clerk kind of come up and tap all the people in front of the line, and the line just parts for Thundrin. So he just walks up to the front. Talks a little bit. Anoff approaches Quincy. Quincy's doing his own thing, right?
Yeah.
The small safe deposit box?
Yeah.
Okay. On-off approaches you guys. He's got, hey, Ballstar, I got the thing.
Okay. I guess I have no idea how much money Quincy spent, so I'm gonna go open up a safety deposit box with a gauntlet.
Okay. It's the same thing.
Same
except
thing.
for the gauntlet, it's probably going to be closer to like 2,400 gold.
Oh my
You
god.
could just
You
bail.
don't even have that much gold on you.
He needed to get in there. You don't need to.
I don't have that much money.
Just say never mind.
Yeah, I cause a scene and act like, Anoff is just an irresponsible.
Roll a persuasion check. You cause a scene in front of the clerk.
No, just a little bit. Just like, I can't believe you didn't bring the money. This is the one reason you scheduled this appointment. You wasted my time. You wasted all. Oh, nice.
Roll persuasion.
That's very good. 20.
Ooh.
Natural 18.
I think they see the gauntlet. You show it to them, and they don't have the money. The clerk's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look. Are you intending to sell the gauntlet, or are you just storing it?"
This is storage. This is a family heirloom, and he has no means of finding any safe storage for it.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say sometimes we do deals if something's gonna be sold eventually that you can sign a contract up to 10 years, and if you sell it within that point, up to half of the selling price can pay for the actual safe deposit box.
I just looked at Anoff and I say, "You have no interest in selling. This is a family heirloom. There's no way you would part with that, right?" Then I start nodding until Anoff nods up and down.
Price?
Falstaff, please. I don't wanna sell it.
Alright, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to take the gauntlet home. I'm sorry for wasting your time. Thank you for your time.
Can we get the gauntlet back whenever we need it? What happens if we don't sell it? She goes, oh, well, we can address that. It just means that you'd eventually, you would owe us, it'd be an outstanding balance if you take it out and you don't sell it, but you can store it here if you intend to sell it. On off, kind of. Fine.
He doesn't have
I'm
to.
store
No.
it. Okay.
Onoff doesn't have to.
Where did this gauntlet come from?
It's the one he stole from the consulate, the Karnathi embassy or whatever.
Oh.
No, I'm not trying to get Onoff to sell it. If he wants to just say no, fuck you, then he goes for it.
I mean, this could be an avenue to make more money off of it. You could get for it otherwise.
I'd say let Onoff flip for it.
Ah, yes.
Okay. Good idea.
Because this is where it can get most attention from the buyer that would be most interested.
Alright. Off goes heads, sell it, tails, keep it. Heads.
Sell it.
Alright.
He kind of, fine. Here you go. She goes, okay, great. So if we are going to keep it, we will keep it out. We will be pulling it out for certain galleries and at auctions. We can try to sell it for you. So there's a chance that you can make a little bit more money on this, depending on the auction. Our next auction will be a little bit later in the month. It's always the last of the month. There's a whole bunch of priceless artifacts, any sort of things, or anything that you sell this for, you put towards credit to buy anything else. In that auction, so if you'd like, yeah, we can sign the deal. She gives him the papers, he signs it, and they bring a warden over to take you to the safe deposit box.
Perfect.
Alright, we go over there, and I just say, I know this is very important for you and your family, and I know you're going to want to do your prayer rites, however long it takes. Whatever your parting ritual is, I want you to do it and really go through your process here.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I give her the biggest Lucille Bluth wink.
Okay.
What's up?
I think Quincy is in front of Creed. I think Creed's behind Quincy. I think you guys are behind Creed.
Okay.
You each have a warden that's taking you through security. On-off, you guys get through security just fine. On-off doesn't really have any like drugs or anything. Oh shit, you guys do have a break.
We also have a bag of holding.
Yeah.
True.
I don't think we would have illicit drugs on our person.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think they leave the bag of holding alone. They don't really know what it is. But you go through security is just fine. You go through another gilded hallway with more cages, like gilded cages where people are working at different desks. The hallway splits up. There's a huge vault door that's maybe 15 feet tall, made of like a red bronze that opens up. You guys go through this open vault door and into like the deposit box area. You are directed, Quincy, to the right where the smaller deposit box are. As you kind of go over, it's just kind of drawers, kind of lined like locked drawers all the way down. You take a couple corridors, look left and right, and then you go all the way to the very, very end. You get safe deposit number 5.
Oh, so it's a totally different area
from the safe deposit rooms.
Did I notice which way Creed went?
Roll perception check.
Uh, 20.
Cool. are some mirrors, like over, like decorative mirrors, kind of like up above, maybe security mirrors. You notice as you're taking off to the right, you take a look at the security mirror, and he just continues going straight.
So the order we went in was Quincy, Creed,
And then Creed,
and then
and
us.
then you guys.
Okay.
Did that hallway look like extensive when I was passing by?
Not extensive. Looks like maybe stairs going down. I will say with the 20, you hear him, one of the wardens say, well, of course you picked out your PIN number. Correct? You remember your PIN number, and you kind of hear thunder echo as you're kind of just parting from him. You kind of hear him echo 4 numbers. Like, I don't know, arbitrary 4 numbers.
Okay.
Like 4651 or something. So you kind of get like a PIN number for him.
Okay.
Creed continues down. I think Ball Start and On Off are led downstairs as well, because these are like the smaller safe deposit boxes. You go down, and there's still the lines of the small drawers of safe deposit boxes, but every once in a while there are large metal and stone doors that have large numbers carved into them. This is a much smaller or shorter hallway, just kind of ends in a dead end, like a circular dead end with a little sitting area. You guys are taken in between, I think maybe door like 6 and maybe door 7, 6 and 7. Like you're right next to him. As he goes in, you see him push a couple of numbers of a pin pad beside the room. Opens it up. You feel this rush of air, and then the warden that you're with guides you to your safe deposit box to put the glove in.
Yeah, we're gonna have to create a distraction so we can cast a spell.
How far away is Quincy from us? Totally
He's
different area,
like
right?
upstairs over to the right. You guys are like downstairs in a short hallway.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, all right, on off. Perform your rites.
Shum meka leka hi meka honey honey ho.
And I know-
hi.
And I know you need
What?
to. I know you need to do it a couple dozen times before it works. So I'm just gonna let you work.
Booga 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 booger.
Is the
He's just muttering to himself.
is the ward-
It's nonsense.
is the guard like paying attention, like eyeing us down pretty hard?
No, he's not looking at you guys. I mean, you're putting something in the safe deposit box. I don't think he's like staring you guys down.
Okay.
I think at this point, Alan Greenspan, you see Grace make her way into the lobby.
While he's doing that, I'm just gonna take a little step back and say over the earring to Quincy,
Yeah.
where are you at? We're making our deposit now. You just lost Creed.
I made a big deposit this morning.
Drop the Browns off at the pool, huh?
This safety deposit box in room 5, my favorite number, off to the left-hand side. It's truly where I want to be right now.
So you need eyes off you, basically? Is that what you're saying? Cough.
What did you guys do with? Sorry, one quick point. What did you do with the fucking petting zoo that you had following you around?
Wait.
All my animals from
You had a tiger, a
Oh, that's
hyena,
right.
a wolf,
giant
and
weasel.
Trilla.
They probably stayed at the theater, just chilling.
Okay.
Oh, I'll just be on my own.
Oh, God.
I say to
I mean, the warden is kind of standing maybe 10 feet away. He's just there. He's not like actively looking at you. I think privacy is a big thing with Kundra.
yeah. I'll just say to him, I know you have to be in the room. I'm just putting something in here that is from my late wife, and if you don't mind, I'd like to say a little prayer out loud, if that's okay.
He turns. He's of course. I want to make him French. I think French dwarf, but of course.
I will let everyone know that Grace has entered the building and the meeting is shortly going to happen.
Terrence, you see Grace get into line into one of the teller boxes. So, Quincy, what are you doing? Casting a spell?
I'm gonna attempt to cast a spell, yeah, as like a cover-up of praying for whatever.
What spell? Clairvoyance?
Clairvoyance, yeah.
Let me see what that does.
Does it give you like a radar of the building?
It's like creates an invisible sensor. It says in the location I've been, or if I haven't, it's got to be obvious. So I guess the best I can do is just like down the stairs.
Okay.
I'm gonna choose
You
hearing.
choose seeing or hearing?
Yeah, I'm gonna choose hearing.
Okay. So I think you can. It's a short enough hallway. You can maybe get like halfway down the hallway, but I mean, with that door closed, you won't be able to see anything, or he won't be able to hear anything with that. Like because there was like downstairs was like the safe deposit rooms.
Right.
You saw like down there. It's a short hallway, but I think maybe just where you can see up on top, it's just like the middle of that
you gotta go
hallway,
see now
and
and
they
start
still are
wandering.
going behind the door to the safe deposit room.
You gotta go senile and start wandering.
John, how long did it take us from being in line to get to where we are?
15, 20 minutes.
Okay. As Anoff's like making the prayer, I just want to talk into his ear. If I made you like a mouse or something, I could cast scrying on you, and you could maybe get to where Creed is gonna be. I don't know. It's just occurring to me now that like I might not be able to scry in that room. But if I do it on someone who lets me do it to him, maybe it'll work. I have no idea.
He shrugs and goes, "Yeah, I'm game. Let's do this."
Well, you can turn into a mouse.
Shoopa
and just
shoopa doopa.
crawl up with a pant leg.
You could scry on Grace.
Oh yeah, I could.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, shit. But they're expecting you to leave too, so I don't know if that'll work. Yeah, maybe I just gotta go in myself.
Shall I send Grace a message to not fear the mouse that crawls up her pants?
Oh God. Yeah, we gotta let her know somehow. It's either that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. I send a message to Grace. We're sending a familiar in with you. Don't be alarmed. It's going to hitch a ride in your trousers.
Oh God.
She's up at the counter right now, and you see she's in the middle of like talking, and like the mask kind of breaks for a second, and then she kind of continues the conversation a little awkwardly, and then begins to walk away as a warden's approaching her, and she looks to you, Terrence, and she just gives you like a hesitant nod.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to leave So I like nudge on off and say, "Hey, hurry it up!" And I want to
And Shabooble.
I want to get back into the lobby as soon as possible. And when I'm out there, I want like, all right, hey, can you guys like cover me? And I'm gonna make a like perception check just to see if nobody's seeing me.
Okay. You have a warden. I think the warden's in front of you, leading
Okay.
you out.
Yeah, I want to go out back into the lobby, like leaving the whole area.
Okay.
Am I?
You guys hurry it up, expedite it. You get back through security. Just as I think she's leaving the desk.
Okay. What? Yeah, I just want to sneak my way into a beast shape and be a mouse, and I want.
Roll deception.
Would it be deception or stealth?
No, stealth. Stealth is better.
Okay. Good. Very good. 19.
Okay. I think you you sneeze really loud. And as soon as that happens, you kind of like pass between a pillar and into a mouse. Scurry up. You find a little pant leg, or I guess she's wearing a sundress.
Oh god.
Up the sundress.
Oh no!
You kind of stop and like freeze. Looks back at Terrence like a grimace. Like kind of grabs your mouse body, kind of hikes you up, maybe the top of the stocking, and kind of pulls it off as an itch, and then continues following the warden.
Oh my god. I try to stay as still as I can, but I'm like too nervous, so I just end up shaking and making it worse.
So she goes down. Quincy, what are you doing? You doing anything else?
Yeah, I'm. So at the end of my prayer or whatever, I'm gonna put in. I'm putting in just a bunch of really old wolfsbane that's been in the bag holding forever. Just a bunch of like dried, dead like, wolfsbane. Just gonna stuff it in and close it. And then
Just like bay leaves and basil and some
Yeah.
like old crusty garlic.
exactly.
Just imagine like you open up like the big bank vault and just like a wave of potpourri falls.
Just stuffing leaves.
Cinnamon.
Like people use this as currency.
And then I'm gonna just be like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Alright, sir, follow me. He ends up going past you and
Is he leading the way?
makes- what?
Is he leading the way?
Yeah, he's leading the way.
I just blew 4,000 golds.
I want to try to go down the stairs.
Like you're gonna try to juke him?
Yeah, but not like quickly. I want to do it like I want to just try to act like a senile old man and like
Okay. Roll a
go
deception.
go the wrong way.
No, I'm quite sure. Yeah, I know where I'm going.
I came in this way.
No, leave me alone.
Natural 20.
Oh, shit.
An old man shit.
I think this guard, as a dwarf, he's a dwarf too. I think you remind him a lot of his grandpa. He's going through some like some senility too. So when you start going, oh, I think it's over here, he kind of like he doesn't like rush you. Just like, oh, well, no, down there's the safe deposit rooms. Would you like to see down there?
Would you like to see down there?
Oh, this is the way
Would you like to see down there?
This was the way I came in, I'm quite sure.
Wheel the wheelchair up the stairs.
No, I'm sorry. This is not the way. Back to the lobby is this way, sir. But if you would like, I can show you maybe downstairs.
Okay, is that where you live?
Sometimes I feel like I live here. It's very true. Here, and he, has his arm and tries to guide you down the steps as well. You guys get to the bottom of the steps. I think just as Ballstar and Grace are headed into the room, she's waiting for the door to be opened. You step down, and the guard's like, "So we have many different rooms down here for people to get privacy or store things. We have this one. I think is one of the city councilmen. He stores many of his art objects in here. He has quite an extensive collection." At the gallery at the end of the month, many of these things will be up for auction. Over here, we have the Morgrave University storage facility. Many different artifacts from Zandrick and other items of archaeological value are stored here. It's a very famous collection. Sometimes they open it to the public to tour.
Is this a library?
You could maybe call it a library, sure.
I love the arts.
I think Grace, she knocks on it, and the door, like all this, like air rushes out. And the warden escorts her in. She goes in and shuts the door. Is there anything you wanted to do, Quincy, before she goes in?
So yeah, I've seen the room.
You saw the room briefly.
Okay. Well, but I've seen the door, right, of the room.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to move my clairvoyance into that room.
Okay. Is it instantaneous?
Yes.
Okay. You move it. So you had hearing, not sight, right?
Hearing,
Or can
yeah.
you switch it?
I can switch it with an action. Yeah.
Okay. You switch it to sight?
I'll look at it quickly and then I'll go back to hearing.
Okay. You look at the room. You see all of a sudden from a different camera angle, Grace step in her sundress with Ballstar upper dress. It's a room maybe the size of a large apartment. All inside there are tapestries, like art tapestries slung from the walls. They're all beautiful. They're all ancient. The whole room's done up in like white marble. I think there are. I think there's a whole bunch of like plants in there, like ferns and stuff, like big fanned plants in pots. Like, what's it good? Yeah. What's the tropical casino? Is that from Temple of Doom? Indiana Jones with Short Round?
Yeah, Temple of Doom.
Tropicana?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like that. There's huge fake plants everywhere. Everything's done like a white cream. It looks very reminiscent to that. I think there's a small mini bar where it's just like mint julep shit.
This is in the bank.
Inside the safe deposit room. There's like, you know, these kind of amenities, like these really, really nice looking like white cream chairs. And then all around is just like priceless art. Statues, these large tapestries. I think there's like one large piece that's kind of like highlighted by a spotlight. Looks just to be like a crumbling column almost, like something that just looks ancient. Made out of a strange sparkling red stone. I think there's books on large lecterns that have spotlights on them with that you can put gloves on and like thumb through the books. It's just like priceless art, it looks like. And they're standing, you see the guards kind of like come behind him, and Fulgrim Creed's just at the little mini bar, muddling some mint and pouring himself a mint julep as Grace comes in. You switch it to hearing. You guys hear, Grace, my dear, it is a pleasure to drink you in again. Grace goes, yeah, I'm happy to be here. He goes, well, I don't want to get to business quite yet. What's the fun of business if you can't play a little bit? Let me show you some of these things. He goes around and gives her a tour. I don't really have anything off the top of my head of what he does. He describes some very interesting art. Well, this one's mid-century. I bought this one for a steal. This is a very famous artist. He died very young, but I managed to buy most of his collections. I just love what he does with life. She gives him a small tour. Grace seems pleasant, but just kind of not trying to delve into it. She refuses to drink. Finally goes, take a seat, take a seat. You both sit down. You feel her sit. He goes, so, to business matters. Did you happen to retrieve the item or items that I have contracted you and yours to procure for me? Grace simply says, no, we need an extension. It's like a long, uncomfortable silence. An extension? What the hell do I pay you for if you do not get me what I desire? I thought you were supposed to be the best. I'll go to House Valeri. Maybe they can procure me what I need. I don't need any... Would you bring musicians to go do a thief's job? I am disappointed in both myself and your organization. Grace goes, well, we need extension. If you want the items in question, then you're gonna have to wait. Why? It's sitting right there. Nobody knows about it. We've already recovered some losses. We need to regroup and get another plan of attack. Plan of attack. There's nobody in the goddamn house. I'll just walk in there and get it myself. Fine. I'll give you 2 days, 48 hours to go into that small little place and get the small little thing that I want from you. You understand? Or else I'm telling everybody what happened here. She nods and says, I don't think anybody would miss you, Grace. Oh, I'd miss you. I'd miss all of this. You're so pretty. But I don't know if anybody else would. I hate for that to happen. Kind of shifting his seat. 48 hours. Okay. Where would you like to meet? Well, here, obviously, protocol dictates that we cannot meet in the same place twice. God. You are really starting to push my buttons, young lady. Fine. I have a ship down in the wet dock. We can meet there. It's called the... I need a ship name. I need a really ridiculous ship name. The Creamy Gentleman.
The Creamy Barnacle?
The Minty Barnacle. It is a 2-mast ship. I will make sure I am there in 48 hours. The dawn in 2 days. Get the hell out of my room. He nods. You hear some footsteps. She stands up and she's escorted out by a couple more of the militia. Door shut behind her and she ends up walking out. How about everybody else?
Terrence will wait until Thundrin makes his way out.
Can you take me home? I don't know where I am.
The guard kind of pats your shoulder and takes your arm underneath his and he's, sure. We will go back to the lobby. He escorts you up to the lobby. Ballstar and On-Off are out. You get in separate meeting place in the lobby. Grace comes out, gives Terrence a nod. You see you're kind of like doing like the ball stuck to your leg dance. It's like Ballstar is kind of scratching her.
The second we're outside, I jump off and scurry away to an alley to turn back to Ballstar.
She steps out and step out. Terrence is just waiting, and Quincy is waiting too.
I'm just trying to get out.
you're escorted out. Thunder and Creed stays for another maybe 5-10 minutes, and then he is escorted out as well by his little Sharn militia.
All right, and when I see him making his way out, I'll cast Arcane Eye.
Okay, what does that do?
It creates an invisible floating eye that I can move around at will. Gives me sight, and there's an unlimited distance for 1 hour.
Oh, that's cool. So you just do you stop seeing and hearing?
I don't think so.
Let's see. All right, awesome. So it says nothing about that. Yeah, sure. Throw out Arcane Eye, and you get the headache again as you're seeing ethereal plane, material plane, and then a second Arcane Eye on top of that. It's just like boggles your mind a little bit. You get a little crazy. But yeah, you manage to get the Arcane Eye, and I assume you follow him at a distance.
For the whole hour, and see where he goes.
Okay.
I imagine Terrence trips a lot. on the way home.
Yeah, just like bumping into people.
You should grab the back of my belt and I'll like feed real over the streets. The blind will be.
There's a little bit of like white powder on my sleeve. Stumbling around.
Shake up, get all twitchy. So for the next hour, what do you guys do? You go back to talk with Grace at a secure area.
Well, so we know the name now. Like
Yeah.
we were thinking we won't even know the person. So can't we consult the database and just see what it's got on Creed?
Yeah, but you'd have to go back to the mansion, back to Bartleby's estate.
That's what
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay. You guys you all board. Does the same kind of thing where she shows her little instrument and she gets free rides with the sky cabs to go beyond their districts. To the government district, land very close to Bartleby's house. Make your way into the estate. As you guys open the door, the guardian, the painting, just kind of is at attention when you open the door, and then as soon as you get in, he kind of goes back into lazy cat and just lays on the painting. Did you just track dirt into the hallway?
I've got it. I'm on it. I'm already on it.
Good. Yeah, you go downstairs into the Bart cave. And yeah, you have access to all their files. What do you want to look up? Thundrin?
Yes.
Thundrin Creed.
Thrundrin, Creed,
Are you guys still
yeah,
stuck with Snapple?
Oh yeah.
Woodhelm,
It's in the fridge.
anything going on with anything we know of him.
You don't really find anything under Thundrin Creed. You go through and there's like a headings, like subheadings, and it's difficult. After a little while, through some files, you do finally pull up a Thundrin Creed, but you only see the file as like Thundrin Creed, seen known aliases as Tarkin Del Daxel.
Tarkin Del Daxel. There's an alias, you said?
Thundrin Creed is an alias of Tarkin Del Daxel.
Del Daxel.
And then if we follow that lead, is there a file on him?
There is. Tarkin Del Daxel is the fourth born son of a very powerful family in the Moor Holds, which is kind of like Dwarven country. It's up near Karnath. It's a small sliver. It's a very small country, but it's where Kundarak started because they have just ridiculous resources. They're in a gold, platinum rich environment in the mountains. It's just an underground like vault. Like the whole place is just like the mines of Moria, except all just fucking gold and gems. They are ridiculously rich to a point that boggles the mind. Like one person can have the entire spending capability as a country. And House Tarkin is one of the large families in the Moorholds. He's the fourth-born son. He, since he has no heir apparent in the Moorholds, he was tracked to spend some time in Karnath during the last war, made a whole bunch of money in Karnath, and has been kind of traveling through, where eventually he ran into some bad stuff in Karnath and showing up in Breland with the Karnathi name that he's known as. He changed his name to Thunder and Krieg, which is much more relish sounding than Tarkin Dildaxel, just to get rid of all the stigma. That's kind of his backstory. He does have some strange things. It looks like he was selling a lot of goods during the last war, specifically weapons, to the Karnathi. He has ties with the Emerald Claw. Before the Emerald Claw was disbanded, he was one of the ones that supplied the Emerald Claw with weapons and equipment that would make them more powerful. And once he came to Breland, he started getting in the government. Started making more money, and then you get another entry that says possible Arum roots.
RM?
Arum.
Arum.
Like it's the scientific name of gold, right?
Alum.
Is it alum or arum? I think this is pronounced arum.
AU
Yeah.
is the symbol.
AURUM. Yeah, the Latin word for gold.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it says possible Arum lineage. You have you look up the Arum in their files, and it says a shadowy alliance of some of the wealthiest citizens of the continent. The Arum has their headquarters in the Moorholds, a place known as Krona Peak. Only a few people know of the organization, and even fewer knows that it's anything more than an organization of wealthy people with interests in history. The Arum was founded in the Moorholds long before the Dwarves' Declaration of Independence. Various families have already joined together in a fraternity to increase the wealth and power of all members. When the kingdom of Galifar fell, and the Dwarves suddenly had a nation of their own, the members of this collective began to look beyond the Iron Root Mountains. Members of the Arum wear 10 rings of varying metal, copper, silver, gold, platinum, depending on their rank, at all times. A tradition derived from the dwarves. Each ring has the same value as, whatever.
Can we inspect the ring that on-off grabbed? Can we inspect the ring that on-off grabbed?
Yeah, sure. Pulls it out. It is a silver ring.
Does it have any inscription on it?
No, they're plain.
Okay, so is Grace reading all this like at the same time we are?
Grace?
Yeah, I assume so. If you want to let her in.
Is Grace with us?
She gave us a ride, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was the deal. We would kind of look at it at the same time.
Okay. She kind of sits down at the headquarters desk and nods her head. That's interesting. The Arum is interesting. I think that's valuable enough information that we can call our deal paid. Did you perchance get what you wanted?
but I think this has established some trust. Unfortunately, we can't give you unlimited access to these files, but we have some discussion with Teen to follow up with.
Surely. Yeah, we can make it back to the theater district before noon if you'd like.
I think that would be wise.
That's it.
For the next hour, where am I seeing Thundern go?
Right. Thundern goes, he goes up past Mithril Tower, up into Diamond, what was that called? Diamond Bridge? He goes up, past Diamond Bridge, up through Platinum Heights, which is like the tallest, one of the tallest central towers, where it's just like they're ridiculously rich. He then boards a sky cab that takes him up beyond the tallest tower and into a floating island that floats above Sharn called Sky Range? Sky Tower? One moment.
It's the Sapphire Club of boarding pass. Right?
The what?
It's like the highest, like, rated part of Sharn.
Yeah, this is a floating island above Sharn.
Okay.
Skyfall? It can't be it.
James Bond?
Goldeneye. Skyway, that's what it's called.
Skyway?
It is it's its own, like, small, like, suburb city that's floating on just solid clouds.
Alright, now does he go to a particular building?
Yes. See, he goes there, he's dropped off. It looks like maybe there's a small sliver that, like a mansion would be. There's a huge estate. It looks like Skyway's kind of small, but it looks like it's not like roads like a city would be. It's just almost like a pie. It's split up among these huge estates, and he goes into one of these estates. He goes in to this lavish, just ridiculous manse. There's a smaller mansion, and then there's the larger mansion up, like, in back, like, that's looking over the cliff down into Sharn. That's where the bigger one is. He actually goes into the smaller one, the smaller mansion, into the manse, it's called. And, I mean, this is still huge, and very, very rich, and he goes there. You see him dismiss his guards. He goes into the kitchen, and you see him throw a tantrum. Just, like, breaking shit. He picks up all the china and just, like, throws it on the ground, like he's screaming. I think one of the servants comes in to check on him, and he just ignores her. He's just sitting there venting and, like, steaming. She comes up, asks if he's okay, and he just grabs her by the throat and slams her head onto the kitchen island, and just keeps kicking her while she's down.
He's crying.
And she just takes it.
The eye.
Oh.
Can I get a bug on him? Alright. Back to the theater district.
Yeah, I guess.
You guys take the special House Thorani discount. back to the theater district. In the daytime, Smoky Towers is a lot more. Well, I guess early afternoon. It's much more dead than it was at 3 a.m. Still foggy and smoggy. It's a lot warmer and humider here than other districts, but there's a light fog kind of going around. It's a little bit of rain. You make your way past and through back to the to Mizana Bufas. You go back. Doesn't look like rehearsals going on. There's people kind of hustling. There's not people hustling. There's people kind of doing stagecraft and stuff, but there's not nearly as many people here as there were. You guys come up to the backstage again. Looks like the backstage is completely changed to another set instead of all of the linens. And you go back and you see Teen Shield. He's sitting on just like a normal, or not a normal, like an office chair, like it's kind of spinning. He's got like a small desk that he's just writing stuff down in. He's talking to another guy, one of the dwarves. He sees you come and beckons. Grace follows up and he goes, "We found the information that we needed." And he quirks an eyebrow. He goes, "So we shared this information. What can you tell me of Thunder and Creed? Or what can you tell me of this man?" He doesn't know the name.
We actually have quite a history with this figure. And I will tell you, he is not the type that is in the interest of anyone in this city to be coming into more power.
Why do you say that?
Launching our whole encounter with him in Woodhelm and what we went through with him.
I kind of don't remember. Didn't he want to be mayor or something?
He became like he became like the de facto mayor, didn't he?
Yeah.
After the disaster with the
Yeah, if you remember, the whole thing was that it was all about the resources of Dragonwood, because it was like protected forest, but because they needed lumber, they were starting to cut it down. He was given Brelish leave to cut down like this protected area for money. Essentially, somehow he got like legal. He like rezoned it somehow, parts of it, so he was able to cut down these trees that were old and valuable. And yeah, he was just reaping all the money from that.
Okay.
And so wasn't he... Okay. So he wasn't directly involved with the Warforged operation? Well, they were ferrying resources out
no,
of
The
they
Warforged were attacking these people
Right.
and stealing all the lumber that they were putting down.
yeah, it was Creed versus like the 8L
Yeah.
Warforged guys.
And then, forget why... So he was just kind of making a power grab, and we were...
Yeah,
Trying.
from the books that Alan Greenspan went through, somebody was taking a large cut of this, but so was Creed.
Yeah, and just after that, I just kind of relay the rest of it. Yeah, he's Carnathy, you know, he's trying to fit in and be Brelish. He comes from big money, old money.
Grace mentions the Arum and that Team Shield kind of like puts his elbows on his knees and steeples his fingers. He looks very concerned. Nods his head. Well, that's very enlightening. He stops. Before you even like see somebody or hear anybody come up, he stops in the middle of a sentence and looks. Somebody comes hustling out of the behind the curtain, throws it open, goes up and whispers in Teen Shield's ear. He just has his ear up. Looks to him and he nods and he looks to you guys. And he says, "Stay where you are. Do not make any sudden moves. You've been followed. He stands up and leaves. He goes, Grace. Grace kind of turns towards you guys and opens up her case, pulls out this like beautiful darkwood violin, just kind of keeps it there looking at you guys. She's lightly strumming it.
Should we prepare for some sort of conflict here?
She goes, I don't know. She's just kind of ghost fingering. You hear a dull hitting sound, and one of the chairs in the auditorium go. Boom, 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 boom. You hear a voice out in the auditorium trying to go, hello? Hello, I know you're here. Come out, come out. There's a little bit more silence. You hear a dull thud. Teen Shield comes back out from the curtain. He goes, you, had somebody follow you here?
We were with Grace. We saw what she saw.
We have no.
She gave us a ride.
We have no knowledge of this.
There's a man says that, man's here, says that he knows you, and he wants to talk to you.
What does he look like?
Who did he ask for?
He asked for Quincy, Ballstar, Terrence, Alan Greenspan, on off, in Bartleby.
We'll have to finish this conversation shortly,
He nods.
I suppose.
He opens up the curtain and steps onto the stage. There on the stage, there's a man who's tied to a chair. He's got like a big helmet on. It looks like a guard helmet almost. Just kind of parts to the side. He's leaned over. You see the like drool and blood kind of come out. He looks over. Grace still has her violin. There's two other Thorani thugs that are just kind of keeping an eye on the man in the chair. He's wearing like kind of a ratty-ass cloak. He's not wearing a shirt. He just has like pants on. He looks emaciated, skinny. His hands almost look too large for his arms. Yeah, he just looks emaciated. As soon as you step in, he kind of turns his head. You see he's like missing quite a few teeth. He's got like black gums. His teeth or his lips are like a very, very white, like not any color to them. He just looks sick and emaciated.
It's not good.
And he turns
I think it's
and
Lucy.
he just smiles. He goes, "Hi."
Do we recognize him?
Yeah.
No,
We do not recognize him?
no, not at all.
Can I do an
I follow. What?
Can I do an insight check on the person closest to me on
Sure.
on not recognizing this person? That's bad. 12.
So wait, you were trying to do a perception check on not the guy, but on somebody else?
Like, sorry. So I see this person, I don't recognize them, and I look at the closest guard or whoever's close to me to try to incite them.
Okay. They look concerned, and they look like they are back, like ready to jump into action at whatever signals necessary. Teen Shield is just hands behind his back, looking at you very intensely as you interact, like the first interaction with him.
I'm just gonna confusedly. I don't recognize this guy at all.
Not at all.
I'm just gonna say, hello. Have we met?
Not formally, but I've been following you.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Yes, I would. I am we are many, but there is only one. There's only one king. There's only one ruler. Only one sovereign. You see his eyes flash yellow for a second.
Yeah, isn't Sovereign one of the Warforged leaders?
Is he tied up in a chair?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
killing him.
I kick over his chair under his back.
You kick over his chair.
Yeah.
Boom. He hits the ground. His helmet falls off. He's a flathead.
I'm tentacle rotting him already.
Okay. He's not resisting. You just do it. He's just laughing.
Okay. Should I roll damage or? I just want to kill this motherfucker.
Strangling?
I have no interest in talking to him. Yeah.
Okay. The tentacles wrap around. He's not really fighting back. But he's just you want to hear about the bomb?
We should probably hear about the bomb.
All right. I don't.
I'm sure this body's very, very angry. And you would treat him like that. That's so rude. I'm here to help.
I smack him in the face. Oh, that.
You knock like a whole bunch of teeth loose. You hear the jaw dislocate. He doesn't show any pain though. Like the body's broken, but like emotionally doesn't show any pain. Okay. One of the guards goes over and pops it loudly and grossly back in the socket. If you are quite done, can I have the conversation, please? I mean, I know where you are. I could send somebody else. Do you not like this guy's face?
What's done is done. What do you want?
I want to play a little game. I know Duchess would just absolutely hate me for this, but I've heard so many good things from Warden and from Duchess and from the dear late Bishop. I hate him. He was a prick. But I've never seen you in action. So I wanted to play. If you look in my bag, he looks over, and one of the guards holding like a bag. There, in that bag is a model of one of the 3 bombs that I've already, or currently am right now, putting across this tower. Mr. Terrence, you are the magic nerd, right? If you would take a look at that and tell me what you think about it.
All right.
He passes you the bag and pull it out. It's like a bowling ball almost. It's got it looks like coils kind of drilled into it. It's made of some kind of crazy like dragon shard almost, like a big dragon shard. You can see on the inside. It's got like weird like kind of not like energy. It's like a cloud almost. Looks like it's like almost like a storm kind of bellowing in it. As you're looking at it, the guy in the chair is just going tick tock, tick tock.
All right, I'll roll investigation.
Maybe Arcana is probably better.
Okay. 23.
23. This is pretty potent, very potent abjuration magic. Because see, the beautiful thing about these is that they don't so much explode as they rip apart things that are already there. I don't think it's going to really hurt anybody that's near them. But if it hits any of the magic around the tower, people are going to die. They're large-scale dispel bombs, And see, the great thing about Charm is what I've been looking into. It's all an air manifest zone. It's how the towers get so high, right? Nothing anywhere else that's not an air manifest zone is going to be able to build this high. So what I'm thinking, I don't really have to explode. There doesn't have to be fire. I just have to get rid of the magic around it. So I take one of these towers, cut the threads. Where does the tower go?
And you're just doing this for the pleasure of destruction, or is there something you want?
Well, I wanted to meet you. Because as you scramble around to get all these bombs, I'm going to be watching. This is a good assessment of your abilities. You were able to get rid of or get out of Warden's grasp, and that's pretty impressive, but you haven't met me yet.
Where do we start?
But the game part is, 3 of them I've hit all around the tower, but they're all places that are important to you guys, and only in this part, only in this central tower here in the plateau. Place is important to you. If you want to save them, you might want to find a bomb.
What kind of timeline are we on?
I don't think I'm gonna tell you. You better go quickly.
Where do we start?
He shrugs. Maybe you should look at a map. And that's probably a good place to end for tonight.
Cool.
Alright.
Woof.
Well done.
Yay! Pseudo heist. Thanks, guys.
Hey man, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Have a good week.
You too.
You too, we'll see ya.
Good night. Getting
Some Die Hard 3.
some Sherlock.